half of the season is now over and done, and as we go into the final half of season 3 of Racecraft Rallycross, the points and the competition could not be much closer. Welcome to one of the newest rallycross circuits on iRacing at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, and welcome to round 6 of Racecraft Rallycross. Happy that you're all with us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon wherever you're tuning in around the world. I'm your host Joshua Lee. Joining me alongside in the booth as always is Dane Baird. And Dane, this season we have gone to many iconic race circuits in rallycross. Sonoma, Daytona, Brands Hatch, Iowa, and Barcelona are done, and now Charlotte, Lucas Oil Raceway, otherwise known as IRP, Phoenix, Knock Hill, and Atlanta to round out the calendar.
Yeah, we visit Charlotte, which is my favorite rallycross circuit. Always gives fantastic racing, loads and loads of dirt at this place, so should be a very interesting challenge for the drivers. Obviously, Lucas Oil replacing Hell on the calendar as of a couple of weeks ago. Phoenix, a fantastic circuit, of course, and then Knock Hill, which I've never seen a race at Knock Hill, so I'm very much looking forward to that later on in September. And then the season finale at Atlanta, always a fantastic circuit there as well. But Charlotte should be an interesting one for the drivers to face today.
Yeah, and of course, with 5 rounds remaining left, we really start looking at those points, and we start with RX2, of course, tonight. And with Zach Knowles' graduation into RX1, that really changes the dynamic of what we're looking at here at RX2. So Carson McKenna, who isn't technically scored as the points leader yet, but once Zach Knowles' drop weeks run out, he's only gone 2 races into RX1, so he still has those drop weeks that he's holding on to. He'll lose those in a couple of rounds time, and then we'll see Carson McKenna fully at the top of the leaderboard. But right now, out of the competing drivers in RX2, he is at the top. Campbell, Winkler, Howell, and Thomas Grady tied with Paul Mikolajczyk for that 5th spot. But this is a very close battle now for about 3rd on back. You see the tie for 3rd, you see the tie for 5th, and the tie for 8th down there as well. Campbell has a little bit of work to do if he wants to catch up to a dominating Carson McKenna in this season of RX2.
Yeah, you can see still very close in and amongst, especially if you look near the 5th, 7th, and 8th. All those drivers separated, there's 5 drivers separated by 3 points. You go back to Matthew Lindy down in 10th, and then you got 6 drivers separated by 4 points. Ridiculously close margins here in RX2. And Carson McKenna starting to make a bit of a name for himself right up at the top. Obviously, getting a little bit lucky with Campbell having that incident back at Barcelona last time out. But Campbell and McKenna, that's going to be the main talking points throughout the season, the rest of the season. I would imagine just those two going head to head.
Let's take a look now at the race analysis. Of course, subject to change depending on how the iRacing service decides to take our 21 drivers that are putting in a time in qualifying. 3 5-lap heats we'll go racing for, with the top 3 actually advancing, and we'll have 2 5-lap LCQs there as well. We'll see how many drivers transfer from there, but that 10-lap feature with 12 competitors will remain the same. That will not change no matter what happens tonight. We'll go racing for 10 laps in the feature race with 12 competitors, and that's the same across whether we are racing in RX2 or we are racing in RX1. But the RX2 qualifying session is now over, and we will see how these drivers are going to line up for heat race number 1, and we will have a confirmed 3 heat races tonight. And starting on the pole for heat race number 1, it will be Tyler Campbell with Robert Kirtley starting P2, Thomas Grady, Paul Mikolajczyk on the 2nd row, 3rd and 4th, with Russell Peterson and Racecraft's own Ian Fisher starting in 6th. Scott Bryant is going to round out our 7-car field here for the first heat race of the evening as we get ready to go racing. And unfortunately, one of the quirks about this track, Dane, is that here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, not a lot of great cameras to capture the start, so we'll be going up atop the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway with our blimp cam to begin each of these races.
Yeah, it is always a very interesting place to start off the races. You can pretty much get a camera that will show you the very first bit of launch or nothing. It's really weird with the cameras here at Charlotte, but we've got the driver on the grid ready to go.
Revs come up 5 laps here in heat race number 1. We are underway. They dive their way into the first corner, 3 wide, back for second, as one driver going to go up and over. I believe that is Mikolajczyk. Yes, it is. Mikolajczyk is up and over onto his lid at the front. It's going to be Thomas Grady and Tyler Campbell sparring for the first spot, but Russell Peterson holding the last transfer. He's got Robert Kirtley behind trying to catch up.
And now up and over the jump that they will go and onto a very short tarmac stretch, one of only 2 very, very short stretches, and now onto the dirt. Very tricky section for the drivers. Swing it in there through the long left here, over the crest. You cannot see the entry to that corner until you're already there. And then through the right as well. Really difficult to get the power down, of course, on the dirt. Very slippery stuff. There's big curves on the exit on the outside. Don't want to be getting on those either. Are we going to see anyone go to the Joker on the last time by the Josh? I don't think we do. We have 1 person in the Joker.
One driver goes in, looks to be Robert Kirtley in the Ford Fiesta. Yes, it is. He goes side by side with Scott Bryant as they exit the Joker, but Tyler Campbell, Thomas Gray now swapping positions at the front of the field. They're continuing to fight for this heat race number 1 win, but remember, top 3 advance, and Russell Peterson with a 2.3 second gap over Robert Kirtley is currently in that transfer spot. But Dane, Robert Kirtley has already taken to the Joker, with it being a bit of a longer Joker, as instead of the normal US Jokers that were used to being a shortcut. So he needs to time this Joker perfect. Does he respond on this lap? He does. So he's going to come into the Joker and try and fight Robert Kirtley on the racetrack.
Yeah, I believe it's about a 1.5 to 1.7 second Joker delta at Charlotte, and Kirtley's going to come out nicely in the front and into 3rd position there. Campbell getting a bit of a gap out in front on this 3rd lap as he rejoins the dirt once again. It's 83% dirt at Charlotte Rallycross. Josh and Campbell a little bit wide. Grady follows them through, both of them tapping the outside concrete. That's fine, you can get away with it. It's obviously a lot slower than your regular very tight line that you should be taking through there, but it's very important that you don't go a little bit too far, Josh, because it's very easy to hook the rear on that concrete and send yourself around, as we've got Grady now down into the Joker and should come out still in 2nd place.
He will stay in 2nd, but Tyler Campbell, 2 laps to go, still yet take that Joker. He's pulling away at the front. Gap is 3.7 seconds, so looks like we're expecting Tyler Campbell to keep the lead whenever he decides to come into the Joker lane, and that is whenever he decides. It looks like Scott Bryant has towed it back into the pit lane. Wondering what happened to the number 19 there, and it looks like we might have a replay available, as we'll see if this time by it is going to be a Joker from Tyler Campbell. No, it's not. He saves it for the last possible moment, and let's take a look at what happened here to Scott Bryant and what prompted him to tow it all the way back to the pit lane and end his race early. Oh, slides it on the asphalt right into the wall.
It is so easy to do as well, because in that part of the circuit, you're coming through the right-hander. The car is all loaded up. You've got a quick change of direction to the left, and ideally want to be keeping it as close to flat out as you can possibly get it. You get it ever so slightly wrong, your wheels break friction, and you just slide out into that concrete wall on the outside. Quite a bit of damage, and obviously near the back already. He's just going to take the tow and save his energy for the last chance qualifiers. Out in front, though, looking to get pole position in that feature race, book his ticket nice and early, Tyler Campbell.
Out of the final corner of the Joker, and by a solid 1.9 seconds, it will be Tyler Campbell grabbing your heat race number 1 victory here from virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Grady and Kirtley are going to join him as qualifiers into our feature race. Peterson, Fisher, Bryant, and Mikolajczyk are gonna have to try and fight out of one of our LCQs later on in this evening. Heat race number 2 on deck. Let's take a look at how these drivers will begin that run, and it will be Andrew Howell and Dario Bronco, new name on the outside of the front row here to Racecraft Rallycross. They start 1st and 2nd. Matthew Lindy, Valentine, a return of Hex Valentine to Racecraft Rallycross, starting there in P4. Noel Hanna, Sim Van Weerld, 5th and 6th. And rounding out your 7-car field, it will be Room Antoinette, starting P7, and we'll go on board for this start here with Hex Valentine in the only Volkswagen Beetle that'll be starting in this heat race, and I believe one of the only Volkswagen Beetles will have competing all night long. Of course, the Subaru being favored, a couple Ford Fiestas here and there. See what the VW Hex Valentine can do on the start. We are underway. Top 3 advance into the feature as we sit on board with Hex Valentine. And he falls a little bit further back into P5. Now 4 drivers fighting in front of him, but to the race lead goes Lindy. Beautiful start for him. Dario Franco sitting in P2 as they continue to fight through the dirt.
Yeah, it's a massive choke point into that first corner of the race. It isn't any corner on the track. The only time you'll see them go through there is at the very start. So it's not like we see most often. Oh, turn 1 is actually the last corner, or turn 1 is halfway around the circuit. Oh, Valentine's around in the background, keeps going though. It is just a corner completely off of the regular circuit. They all make their way through relatively cleanly. A little spin in the background, but nothing more serious than that. Interesting that you did note that, Josh, that we have got mostly Subarus here, because thinking back to the IRX All-Star Invitational, where the drivers in the World Championship level were able to choose their own cars, everyone went for the VW, or nearly everyone went for the VW. So I wonder if that's something that's changed in the last year or so, or whether these drivers just prefer this car.
Battle for second place has now started to brew as you saw Dario Franco go all the way up to the outside of that dirt turn, hit the outside wall, and ended up losing a bit of time, but gains it right back over the jump and through that asphalt corner on the 666 of Andrew Howell, who he is trying to run away from, and who Noel Hanna is trying to catch up to, as he currently, Andrew Howell in the 666 has that transfer spot, looking to put Dario Franco down into it, but a mistake there through the dirt left-hander puts Andrew Howell a little bit further back now in momentum, but Howell will have Noel Hanna follow him into the Joker lane. Romance Innocent goes into the transfer spot. Andrew Howell comes out right behind his teammate.
Yep, and now going side by side into the second apex. There's a massive choke there into the wall. Goes the car on the inside. Now Howell is going to try and get through here, but Wirral just in front, getting pinched into the wall there by Antonis, and the 2 teammates battling side by side, and they're going to continue battling here into the left-hander onto the dirt. There could be an opportunity for Van Wirral to send the move up the inside into the dirt here, but on the right he does do so, and now he's going to probably have a bit of a better exit as well. He might be able to get this move stuck. They're side by side, and out of the corner Van Wirral is going to get that one done.
Antonisson goes into 6th place and further down with that Joker lap. Van Wirral battling Franco now as the Joker lane still needs to be taken by Sim Van Wirral. So, or no, he just took it that time by. So he has taken his Joker. Matthew Lindy still has yet to take his Joker. Battle for the transfers on with 2 laps to go.
Almost side by side through the dirt there. Franco just about holding on to that 3rd position. Battle for the transfer space is up the inside there. Goes Howell, and he's going to be looking to make this one stick. It is possible to hold it around the outside of this right-hander and gain the inside for the next corner. That's exactly what Franco's going to do now, but Howell has to get on the brakes to avoid the ball. They're still side by side, up and over the line to start the final lap, and it's going to be side by side still entering the dirt, but Howell just about gets up into 3rd place.
Howell with a slide job there for the moment to get that spot away from Franco. His lap still is not done. Still a little bit of time left in the lap as they go into the dirt for the final time here at heat race number 2. They work their way through the dirt one final time. Howell goes a little bit wide. Franco to the inside, or to Howell going to the inside of Sim Van Wirral there for the spot. Matthew Lindy is going to walk away with a heat race victory as Van Wirral and Howell spar for 2nd place. That'll solidify the 420 and the 666 into the feature.
Saw some good racing in that heat. Drivers going side by side, getting with a little bit of contact, pushing each other ever so slightly wide. That's what we love to see in Rallycross, just a little bit of contact between the cars as they battle, especially on the dirt sections. But there are the race results for that heat race, and unfortunately a couple of those drivers having to go down to the last chance qualifier. We'll see what the grid is for the third of the heats, and there's a familiar name right up at the front.
Carson McKenna, points leader of RX2 on the pole. Sean Winkler, Trevor Teal, Hector Sierra back from there. Nick Chacon, Armand Brusso, and Dylan Baldwin is going to be the last driver on this starting grid. As 3 wide at the front for the start. And we get ready to go racing in heat race number 3. Final heat race of the evening for RX2. Remember, top 3 advance into the feature. McKenna on the inside, Winkler in the middle, Teal all the way up by that outside wall. Green flag is up. We are racing, and it's a bad start on the outside line, falling all the way back. That is going to be, it looked like Trevor Teal way to the back of the pack. McKenna leads. Nick Chacon to second. Sean Winkler now holding the transfer spot as he barely gets into line with his Subaru. Contact behind. Dylan Baldwin hits Hector Sierra Jr. and more almost go around. They keep it straight. We stay under the green flag as Chacon and Winkler hold second and third side by side as Teal trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, Teal with a poor start there, just not getting off the line at all. Staying stationary for a good couple of seconds actually at the beginning of the race. McKenna with a huge gap now because there was carnage further in front as well. A couple of drivers being turned around through the second corner of the circuit. McKenna now with a big gap now and should be able to hold on to this one and make his way onto the front row of the feature grid, but battle behind much closer as some drivers. Teal making his way down onto the Joker first time by. It's going to be side by side further back.
Hector Sierra Jr. joining Trevor Teal in that Joker that time by. Winkler and Chacon still battling. Subaru and Ford Fiesta battle for second place on the track right now as the battle for the transfer non-existent. You gotta look a good ways back to find the 67 of Dylan Baldwin, who makes a mistake going through the left-hander in the dirt. And here comes Trevor Teal to try and get that 4th spot away. And Teal also looking to race a little bit closer up to the drivers, close to the front of the field, as diving into the Joker goes Dylan Baldwin. That will hand Trevor Teal that 4th spot as we look on board.
And always great to see Trevor there. Disappointing as always to see him not in his pickle suit.
I was told that in every season that I broadcast anywhere, if he's racing in it, he will bust out the pickle suit at least once. So we're due to it for it at some point this year.
So we're halfway through the season now, into the second half of the season. Time is ticking, Trevor. You need to give the fans what they want.
So he sits 4th right now, about a second back from, or actually now he's going to be passing Nick Chacon as Trevor Teal had the Joker already done. He gets by the Ford Fiesta of Chacon and now move the 72 into P3 on the mark right now. Winkler and McKenna now the top 2, but Sean Winkler still yet to Joker, and McKenna at 1.3 seconds has an opportunity to overtake when Sean Winkler takes to the Joker. Will he do it this time or save it for the white flag lap?
He will indeed. A little bit of a gap behind to McKenna, but I don't believe it's going to be enough, and that is Winkler leaving it right until the very end. Into towards the first couple of corners now. Very tricky first couple of corners. You've got to try and keep your momentum throughout this entire section. Get a good launch out of this one, but try not to run too wide on exit as well. Very easy to launch yourself off the side of the jump, and that is a recipe for disaster. Very technical circuit this at Charlotte. Very tricky to get completely right. Very difficult to be consistent at as well. And as the dirt grooves in there, you can see the patches. The lines change all the way through. It usually does happen on dirt, but you don't normally have this much dirt on the circuit. Through to the Joker he goes in the final time of asking, and McKenna will inherit the lead.
Carson McKenna, right where he started in this heat race, will finish this heat race. That is on pole position. Sean Winkler in second. Trevor Teal holds on to the transfer, and Trevor Teal will advance into the feature. The exact top 3 we started with in this heat is the exact top 3 that we're going to take into the feature.
And yeah, despite having a very interesting start to the race with the carnage that was going on there as well, Teal just not getting off the line, dropping right to the back, still managed to move his way back up into that 3rd position and take the transfer spot away from Baldwin as well. So good racing from the drivers right up near the front as well. Teal side by side multiple times going into and out of the Joker. And time to see, we've got the last chance qualifiers coming up.
And it will be only one last chance qualifier. So the amount of drivers we had in the session, not enough to create 2. So we only got one massive one. 12 drivers taking the green flag here. Wow. With Russell Peterson, Dario Franco, Dylan Baldwin, Ian Fisher, the top 4. Rum Antonesson with Armin Brusso, the top 6. And rounding out the field, Scott Bryant, Noel Hanna, Hector Sierra Jr., Paul Mikolajczyk, Hex Valentine, and Nick Shakan. As we waste no time, we are ready to go racing in the now one and only LCQ tonight, and the green light goes on. We are racing 12 drivers strong as they all fight their way to the first corner, and carnage at the Tums Heartburn turn, and that is almost half the field taken out in turn 1. Russell Peterson gets away with the race lead, but from about 8th on back, it was absolute carnage off the start.
And into the wall, multiple drivers there in the first corner of the race as well. We've got a Fiesta off in the barrier, stuck, trying to get around but can't. Now we've got side by side for what I believe is 3rd place, coming up and over the crest into the left hand on there.
Oh, up in the air goes Armin Brusso for a moment. X Valentine gets back in. We'll take the top 3 from this LCQ and put them in through to the feature to make a 12-car feature race. Valentine gets through for that 3rd spot. Early Joker from him. Rum Antonesson will grab the lead after Russell Peterson also decides that now's the right time to Joker. So here comes the number 59 into 2nd place, but Joker lap done for Peterson.
Up and over the jump then, and through the right-hander. Good to see that none of the drivers accidentally clipping the inside concrete wall there. One of the most common mistakes you'll see at this circuit. And through onto the dirt section once again, trying to follow Antonesson as closely as possible. It's always good to have a driver about a second or so up the road, because you can just try and catch up to them. You don't want them too close to you because there might be a distraction, but a little bit further up the road is always good to give you something to work towards. Here's a replay of the start.
And we go all the way back to when lights went on, and not sure who that was in the middle line. It looked to be the 84 entry of Dario Franco, and it was just a little bit of contact that sparked into a lot of contact as we take a look at it again. Try to go to the inside, of course, that car being there, the Subaru on the inside, and then it looked like a chain reaction wreck from there, Dane. I don't believe anybody else really sparking off of Franco's incident. Oh, Fisher got loose under braking and made contact with the Subaru behind him.
Yep, and then just complete carnage, and that didn't stop there. Drivers way out of position, trying to just file into single file, and eventually all ending up in the wall through the second couple of corners as well. So massive chaos at the beginning of this race. Antonesson peeled into the Joker just as we were watching the replay. So Peterson is going to inherit the race lead once again. Antonesson just behind, and Peterson looking comfortable out there, should make it easily through into the feature race.
2 laps to go here in the LCQ, which is known as the B main as well. We had no first LCQ, we had no C main tonight, so this is going a 12 driver LCQ. It will advance the top 3 as Mikolajczyk gets by both Antonesson and Hex Valentine. I believe the 298 and the 365 coming together through that first dirt corner. White flag this time by, and Antonesson is in that transfer spot. Hex Valentine has got some work to do to get up into the top 3. White flag this time.
Yep, we'll see what they can do here. down now into the first couple dirt corners. There's a car going a little bit wide on the outside of the second corner. Mikolajczyk, that is going a bit wide, so maybe a bit of an opportunity here. As Antonisson going a bit slow as well. Final lap now, only a couple corners for Valentine to try and get something done here.
Antonisson goes a little bit low, can't get it done, but at the front it is Russell Peterson as he goes by the Joker lane. Entry already taken and already done for Russell Peterson, and he grabs our LCQ victory. Second place goes to Mikolajczyk, no pressure there, but third place, the pressure was on for Antonisson, but Valentine did not have enough. Give the third and final transfer spot to Antonisson. Drivers finishing up the LCQ. Remember, we'll take that top three. So Peterson, Mikolajczyk, and Antonisson are into the feature race with Valentine, Brusso, Hannah, Fisher, Baldwin, Chacon, Sierra Jr., and more having to go home and race back next week. So that is heat races over and done, LCQ over and done, Dane, and now going into this feature race for RX2. So much on the line for these drivers, specifically for Carson McKenna, a Tyler Campbell, Sean Winkler, Andrew Howell. They've got a lot to fight for in that points championship, and with McKenna at the front and Campbell with a good gap over Sean Winkler and everybody else behind. Some small mistakes from the top two, and Winkler and Howell are going to be right there in the championship fight.
Yep, absolutely. So it's really important now, especially into the second half of the season, that they need to try and get as many points as possible. Every single drop point could be the championship over for any of those drivers right up in the front. So they've really got to be careful here, and especially at Charlotte, survive the start. I am yet to see a totally clean start at this circuit. It just seems to breed accidents, similar to what we saw last time out at Barcelona, where it just funnels everybody into a really tight spot. Charlotte does a similar kind of thing, but with the walls so close on either side, easy for them to cause absolute chaos.
And of course, the drivers on the track right now for their warm-up period before we get going. And with 5 rounds remaining on this schedule, of course, a wild card next week in Lucas Oil Raceway, and then Phoenix, Knock Hill, Atlanta to finish the calendar. I know we calculated it, Dane, this track being mostly dirt. They're going to go to a really striking difference in Lucas Oil Raceway being a majority asphalt course.
Yeah, exactly, and that causes even more problems for the drivers. It's very difficult to get the cars stopped on the tarmac because the cars will lose grip ever so slightly and they'll just slide for ages. They don't turn as well. You can't get the turn around. You got the wheel spin to worry about on the tarmac as well. So it is a very different challenge, Lucas Oil, that they have to face off at that circuit. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing that round. I'm glad that we swapped it out instead of hell. Definitely a good decision. And we've got the starting grid for the feature race of RX2 on the screen now.
Time to go racing for that feature, and starting on the pole position, it will be Tyler Campbell, Matthew Lindy in second, Carson McKenna to round out that first row, Thomas Grady, Sim Van Weerld, and Sean Winkler 4th, 5th, and 6th on the grid. 7th place will be Robert Kirtley, Andrew Howell 8th, Trevor Teal 9th, Russell Peterson 10th, with Paul Mikolajczyk and Rum Antonisson rounding out the field as we get ready for the feature race of RX2. Remember, RX1 coming up immediately following the conclusion of RX2 here and of this feature race. We'll hopefully talk with a couple of your RX2 drivers as well, but it's time for them to go racing at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. 3 wide on the front row, and we are underway for the RX2 feature. And it's a great start in the middle lane. We're getting that early lead, trying to go around the outside as we've got carnage on the inside. Looked like Sim Van Weerl might have gotten turned around, but it's Tyler Campbell versus Matthew Lindy as they go into the dirt for the first time. Campbell has that spot. Matthew Lindy trying to take it over. Carson McKenna to third. Trevor Teal with an incident at the start. He toes it back to the pit lane. Sean Winkler, same thing.
Yeah, you can see them just in the background. Andrew Howell had problems a little bit further back as well, but crucially for McKenna, gets up into that third position. He lost it for a second through the outside lane, through the first couple of corners of the race. Managed to get it back just in time. Now he's looking for second place down the inside and towards this right hairpin, and he's going to get it.
Grabbing second spot away goes Carson McKenna. Beautiful move for the 11. Campbell doesn't joker, McKenna doesn't joker, neither does Matthew Lindy. First joker is going to be from Sim Van Weerld as Winkler and Kirtley go on by to round out your top 5. Van Weerld with the joker to 6th. Trevor Teal back on the racetrack. A lot of damage to that number 72, but he is still running, so he takes that joker lap that time by. Mikolajczyk, Peterson, Grady, and Tennyson. Your 11 drivers is Andrew Howell. We're getting the worst end of the stick there off the start. He towed it all the way back to the pit lane and is out of this race.
Yep, so we see Campbell still leading this race, still not taking to the joker. Is anybody in this top 3 going to take it early on in this race? I feel like most of them will stick it out to the end, but as I say that, Lindy proving me wrong, going to the joker, first one of the top few drivers to go down there.
Winkler to 3rd, that pushes Lindy back further to 4th. After that joker lap, remember Sim Van Weerld behind has already taken his joker as well. Paul Mikolajczyk that time by, comes into the joker, comes out right in front of Russell Peterson in the number 59 in P8 currently. Top 3 still have yet to take to their joker. That's Campbell, McKenna, and Winkler. When are they going to think about it with 10 laps in this feature race? A lot of time to do it is rolling on lap 3.
Yep, still plenty of time for the drivers to take to their joker. Much longer race here in the feature race, of course. And starting lap number 4 of those 10 laps. Campbell across the line, keeping a good distance to McKenna behind though.
Gap at about 6 tenths. I believe that was Tyler Campbell into the wall, and that has brought that gap all the way down to less than 0.3 of a second. Back to the dirt section, back over the hump, into the left-hander, way to the outside. That's Roman Tennyson. Leaders go by. McKenna trying to go to the inside. Does he go for the crossover? He attempts it. He's down the inside, making contact with that inside wall. Carson McKenna wants the lead. He has to settle for second as he continues to spot with Campbell. Joker lap here.
Has to take to the joker there. It's a poor joker. Gets a big lock up on the rear right, the inside. A massive lock up there, and McKenna, that's going to be some time lost. He gets out in front of Winkler and Lindy, so that's not a problem for him. He can fully focus, but there was no way he was going to just sit behind Campbell and watch at that point. So he's got to go for the joker, get some clear air, and try and gain on the delta. You can see the delta on the screen there. That's a little bit more than he would be hoping for, but I feel like Campbell's got a joker soon, surely.
2.8 seconds that gap. Campbell a little bit wide through the sweeping dirt section. He does not joker this time by. This time by the start finish line. We're going to be looking at 5 laps remaining. And you mentioned it, Dane, it's got to be a joker soon because Campbell now sitting duck with McKenna behind, especially as that gap hovering around 3 seconds. That might not be enough if Campbell makes the same mistake through the joker as McKenna did.
Yeah, absolutely. Surely, if you've got the gap now, you've got to go for it. You do not know what's going to happen later on. And it's so much easier to keep a car behind you if you're in front of it and can just essentially park on the apex, rather than trying to keep a car behind you if they're 3 seconds back. So I think he's got to go for it now, as soon as possible.
4 to go this time by. Still no joker from Campbell. Everybody else through the field starting to spread out, as it looked like Roman Tennyson has towed it back into the pit lane. I believe he might have made contact with another driver, but as we sit right now, Tyler Campbell, fastest lap of the race that last time by. 3.7 seconds the gap. You can see now that gap to Carson McKenna. It's starting to grow, and Sean Winkler is starting to catch McKenna. Winkler still with the joker left to use, though.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting between Winkler and Lindy when Winkler does go for the joker, because that gap is steadily increasing. But Campbell out in front, I think he's losing time to McKenna every lap.
2.9 seconds the gap now. Put that back up to 3 seconds. Last time by for Tyler Campbell, 43.764, 43.577 for McKenna. Last time by, McKenna ran his best lap of the race, which is also the best lap out of anybody running in this race right now. So McKenna goes purple, and Tyler Campbell still needs to take his Joker. 2 to go. Does he take it here? No, he does not. This must be a last lap Joker for Campbell, but is it worth it, Dane?
I think he's just about safe now, but he needs to be flawless. Absolutely needs to be flawless. If he makes a single mistake now, that Delta's going to go down. He'll lose the spot as soon as he Jokers. So it's really interesting that he's choosing this time. Maybe he just thinks that McKenna will just send it up the inside if he's up against him. So we'll see. The Joker does stick you out right before the finish line. So it is always a fantastic drag to the finish. But has McKenna made a mistake on this last lap? It looks like he's dropped back a bit.
McKenna 2.5 seconds that gap now.
Ooh.
It's very, very close. 2 to go here. Does Campbell
Still
go for it? No. 3.3 seconds. Where McKenna's losing time is through that right-hander in the dirt section. He's going a little bit too wide, losing a bit too much time, Dane. White flag is out. McKenna's going to need to try and gain a bit of time back if he wants an opportunity at overtaking Campbell to the Joker. But either way, we might be looking at a photo finish here.
I think he got a little bit too sideways through the first couple of corners. I think Campbell has got it here. If he can just hold on and get a clean line through this left-hander and through the next right, he should be able to have it. But we saw how tricky this Joker is. It is not an easy Joker. You got to send it very close between 2 massive curbs and the walls as well. We'll see now Campbell taking to it through the left and the right. Avoid the walls. Don't lock up. Get a nice tight line through the right-hander. I think he's got it.
Here comes Carson McKenna. Is it enough? No, it's not at the line. And Tyler Campbell wins the RX2 feature from Charlotte. And it was close by 0.667 seconds. Carson McKenna will have to settle for second place. He still is looking good at the front of the pack in the point standings, but he does not get another feature race win tonight.
Yep, lost a couple points in this championship lead as well. Lost 2 points in qualifying for finishing third in that one. And he's going to lose a couple more points as well for the feature race. So Tyler Campbell closing in as we head to 4 rounds to go in RX2. Brilliant race from both of those two. It wasn't on-track battle, but it was a battle of the Delta. Carson McKenna choosing to take that Joker a little bit earlier than Campbell expecting maybe. Some good racing further back as well. Also very close between Paul Mikolajczyk and Sim van Weerel as well, Josh. Only half a second separating those two. And then Matthew Lindy just behind as well.
Russell Peterson, Thomas Grady, Trevor Teal, Ruben Tedesset, and Andrew Howell rounding out that list of drivers there from our feature race of RX2. From the heat races to the LCQs to the feature, what an exciting night of RX2 action that we saw. Of course, RX1 coming up in just a few moments. That session's already open. Drivers getting ready to go into qualifying, and we'll see if we can speak to your winner from RX2 in just a moment. That was Tyler Campbell in the number 37. But Dane, with the way we came into this night with the points, Carson McKenna leading, Tyler Campbell in second. Campbell's going to close that gap a little bit more, but McKenna still solidifying themselves as the championship contender.
Yep, absolutely, and still 4 rounds to go. Anything can still happen in that battle, but it just gets that little bit tighter between the two of them as we go to Lucas Oil next time out. So that's going to be a very interesting championship battle that we're going to see throughout, because they're almost exactly the same pace. So it really does become a huge battle when they come together on track. It is fantastic to watch. So really looking forward to the rest of this RX2 season.
And still waiting on Tyler Campbell to join us in our Racecraft TV broadcast booth. But for the moment, talking about RX2 and how it's been this season, it really has been the show of Knowles, Campbell, McKenna. Winkler's been there at every single turn. Now with Knowles out of the equation, Campbell, McKenna, and Winkler at the top 3 of the points, with Andrew Howell there as well, they were top 3 coming in tonight's results as well. The only difference was Andrew Howell running into issues and ended up P12 at the end of that running, but the RX2 top contenders are right there every single round. We haven't really seen many mistakes from Campbell, McKenna, or Winkler.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, it was Knowles up there as well. Knowles obviously going up into RX1 halfway through the season. So we'll have no more Zach Knowles in RX2, but he's also doing a pretty good job up there in RX1 as well. So good to see him getting promoted effectively. But yeah, these drivers, really, really consistent stuff that we haven't seen that much in RX2 in the past. Usually it's the more inconsistent of the drivers that we see in RX2. They a lot of them coming in from short course racing, just trying to get used to the rallycross cars, not quite there with their consistency. But these 3-4 drivers up at the front, they are fantastic at their consistency. You could see Tyler Campbell hitting his marks every single time in that race.
And it looks like we have no Tyler Campbell, but we will be able to speak to second place Carson McKenna. He was second in that feature race, and Dane Baird, you're standing by with him now.
Well, welcome to the broadcast booth here, Carson. And once again, very good result from yourself, up in second position there at the end. Really, really close stuff in that feature race. Talk us through Charlotte overall, first of all. How do you find the circuit?
I really enjoyed the track. It just the way it kind of seems to flow. Just I really enjoy it personally, but I don't think I'm the absolute fast. Like, it's not my fastest track, but I still really enjoy driving it.
And this feature race then, making a move on Campbell there during the race, not quite working out for you, but then opting for an early joker. Was that just to try and get out of the situation with Tyler right in front of you, try and take it on the Delta?
Yeah, I was wanting to try to make a pass on the main circuit and then take my joker later, but it didn't work, and we kind of got bunched up, so I thought we'd just kind of break it up and just try to go for times, kind of.
And it just didn't pay off for you. Very close there at the end. Taking second place, still leading the championship after this round, but the lead slightly smaller. Heading into next time out, we've got Lucas Oil, obviously instead of Hell. What are your thoughts on Lucas Oil as a circuit? Almost an exact opposite to Charlotte. Here we've got loads of dirt, there we've got loads of tarmac.
Yeah, Lucas Oil was fun too, but again, I don't think it's my best track either, but it has a lot of good racing. I do like racing it.
Well, so congratulations on that second place finish then, and on still leading the championship heading into next time out. We'll see you then. Good luck with that. Before we let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank Team Watson Racing, and thank James Watson for having me on the team.
Well, always great to hear from Carson McKenna there, your second place finisher in the feature race here in RX2. We will speak to him again, I'm sure, after the round at Lucas Oil. Coming up next, Josh, looks like we finally did get our race winner.
I'm standing by with our race winner now, Tyler Campbell. And Tyler, a race win for you at a time that you're chasing down Carson McKenna for that championship. I don't think this could have came at a better time for you, especially with the quick time and qualifying as well as the heat race win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely love Charlotte's. By far my favorite rallycross track on the service. I mean, it's just so much fun. You got the fast sweeping first and second corners right into the jump. And then you have a tricky technical dirt section after that. So, all in all, pretty happy with it. Just wanted to stay consistent. And I swear he was going to get me at the beginning of that feature race, because with the track change, starting on a fresh track in Heat 1, and now you got the worn track in the feature, it almost got me a couple times. I'm not going to lie.
And you mentioned your love for this track of Charlotte. What about the track that we're going to next, which is Lucas Oil Raceway? I haven't seen too much of it as of late in iRacing Rallycross, but of course we're going right back to it, and it's going to be an exciting one to watch. Where's your confidence level at as we get ready for that one?
That one's very tricky. My confidence level is pretty decently high. It's just a really tight. I mean, you talk about tight turns. The difference between this tight turn and Lucas Oil is that you you really have a long run up and a tricky joker. So, I think it's just going to come down to putting yourself in clean air and then just staying out of trouble there, as opposed to just having the pure pace.
Of course, with also now after this round, 4 rounds to go before that championship, you've got a good bit of work to do to catch up to Carson McKenna. Does it feel possible for you? Do you think you'll end up being a main contender and a mainstay in this championship fight?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. I mean, Carson's, so consistent. It's just, I think it's going to be me and him duking it out, what track he is better at, what track I'm better at, and then just, making it through our heats, I think, is the big thing. Ending up in an LCQ and even missing the feature, even ending up in the back of the feature, really could really hurt the other driver. So, we'll just have to see. I have confidence we can race cleanly together. We've done it before, so. I think it's gonna be exciting. I mean, it's definitely gonna get the heart pounding for sure.
Well, congratulations on your feature race win tonight, Tyler. Anybody else you'd like to thank here on Racecraft TV?
I mean, other than you guys for always putting on an awesome broadcast, Team Watson Racing Setups for always having the support there, especially with our large rallycross group that we have. So it's just a pleasure racing and talking with those guys, and good luck to y'all with future broadcasts.
And great to hear from you once again. That's Tyler Campbell, RX2 feature race winner tonight. And we do have a little bit of time to speak with our 3rd place finisher, Sean Winkler, who joins us in the broadcast booth now. And Sean, 3rd place for you. I'm wondering if you're not too upset with that one, because it was a pretty tough race for you out there.
Man, I'll take it. It was hectic, and I think I got through by the skin of my teeth, but I'm thankful to be back talking to you guys today.
And what was your thoughts on this track coming into tonight? Of course, Charlotte seems to be either a favorite track by a lot of drivers, or it seems to be a track that some drivers cannot get around. What say you about this track?
Yeah, it's probably one of my more favorites than less favorites, so that's fun. I did have a win here before, so that's good. And, at the end of the day, you're just trying to stay clean and dodge kind of some of the bing bongs out there that are happening. And if you can do that, you can put some laps together and make it happen. So I enjoyed it. It was fun today.
And moving on in the calendar this season, 4 rounds left. Lucas Oil Raceway coming up next. Where's your confidence level at for that track that nobody has really touched for a while in iRacing Rallycross?
Oh, that's a great question. I really don't have a lot of experience there, so confidence level low, but we're going to fill up the confidence meter this week doing some practice there and see if we can make it happen again. Yeah.
I love to hear that you're going to put in that practice to get going for it. But Sean, anybody else you would like to thank here on Racecraft TV before we send you off?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to SimSeats for the setup here, VRS, Direct Drive, EVGA, Cube Control, Husenfeld, HP for the reverb, Josh and the guys at Jim Beaver Esports, Ian Fisher for the fun Northwest theme paint, and you guys for calling the events, man. You guys make these videos just awesome. It's so fun to watch them and go back and catch it with all the guys. And finally, if you want to buy or sell a house in Seattle, give me a shout. Call me up, guys.
If you have a house in Seattle, call Sean Winkler. I think that's all I got, all I gathered from that interview there. But thank you very much, Sean, for your time, and great to hear from him again here on Racecraft TV. And we are getting ready for RX1. We'll take a short break, and then we'll be right back with you for the start of RX1 action. You're watching Racecraft Rallycross, and it's live on Racecraft TV.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Racecraft Rallycross live on Racecraft TV. We're getting ready for heat race number 1 of the evening here for RX1, and we'll get you your grid here in just a moment. Couple of technical difficulties on our side, but we will bring you live coverage of this heat race. And starting on the pole for this heat race, well, it is the quite polarizing driver after the last race at Barcelona, Jacob Rafas, and we are green flag racing into turn number 1. He's got Connor Parisi behind, also in this heat race. Starting behind, it's Edmondson, Forster, Irving, Franco, and Steve Ainge as they all race into the dirt section for the first time. Great lead already for Jacob Rafas as he pulls away to a relatively good gap, but fighting behind, it's the Jim Beaver Esports teammates of Parisi and what was Edmondson, now Benjamin Forster, Aiden Irvine joining the ranks up in the top 3.
Yeah, making their way through the dirt section now, and up the inside goes Edmondson there, getting that move stuck, and Forster trying to get involved too. More contact between the two of them, and Edmondson gets forced wide, and there goes Forster off the inside of Edmondson. They're going to make more contact. Edmondson almost getting sent off the circuit, just about holds on, but now down to 5th.
A far ways down now is Josh Edmondson. A lot of fighting left for him to do here in this race, but Jacob Rafas leads the way. Connor Parisi in second. You're watching the battle for third between Aiden Irvine and Benjamin Forster as they fight third and fourth, working their way out of the asphalt back to the dirt. They go, and into one of the turtle curbs goes Aiden Irvine. That could have been much worse, but Benjamin Forster gets by for third.
Yeah, almost getting bounced straight back into the car just in front as well. Just about holding on to things there. Those curbs, massive, much bigger than they look. They're on tiny little pedestals as well, so they're even higher than the curbs themselves should be. And they've got those qualifying boards on them as well that are knockable. You can just knock them flying, which is always hilarious to see. But the car's getting sent all over the place, not so hilarious to watch. So very lucky to be able to keep going in this, but has lost quite a bit of time. Edmondson, of course, having taken that Joker, well, Irvin's got to watch out.
Jacob Rafas still leads the way. You can remember back to the issues that he had with Adam Alderton 1 week ago, and it was going through the dirt section at Barcelona. And just a little bit of an overzealous run there. He hits Adam Alderton. Rafas very apologetic. Alderton flat out said in his post-race interview, Dane, that he didn't really care for that move and kind of expected it from Jacob. So now we got to watch these two on the track. But Rafas is showing that he is the one to beat both on the track and in the championship point standings.
Yeah, I would probably rank him number 1 out of all the drivers that we've seen in Racecraft TV Rallycross. The kid is absolutely insanely fast. He has been ever since he burst onto the scene, pretty sporadically. A little bit further back, a couple of years ago, making his way to the iRacing Rallycross World Championship quite easily, and then obviously doing the short course championship as well. As it looks like Irvin's had his share of problems the last couple of laps. As he hit one of the tyre barriers after the jump, it seems a bit of damage to the back of the car.
Sounds like that is exactly what happened, but Connor Parisi with the Joker. Remember, top 2 being taken here through these heats in RX1. A little bit more drivers trying to qualify, so we'll take the top 3 for the top 2, excuse me, from this 7-car grid. And looking up to the front, Jacob Rafas still yet to take the Joker, but this time by, he'll go the long way around, get that Joker lane completed. Not exactly close enough for Connor Parisi to make any sorts of moves. So at the line this time, it will be Jacob Rafas, right where he left off from Virtual Barcelona, a race winner in heat race number 1.
Yeah, Rafas with a very, very good line there, as we're going to see side by side across the line between Edmondson and Forster. Who's taking it?
I believe Edmondson will take third. Either way, both of them have to fight out of one of our LCQs. As Josh Edmondson finishes third, it is Forster back from there as we now look at your starting grid for heat race number 2 on the night. Matthew Feldman will start in first with Alexander Abedi in second, Marcus Palacio third, Danny Aish in fourth, Toby Ward, Cohen Attard the top 6, and rounding out your field on the grid, it will be a return of Connor Berry, the newly crowned iRacing off-road champion. He starts in 7th place on the grid. As we get ready to go racing, we look on board with Matthew Feldman, who doesn't go off of the start, and he gets going now, but you can see the entire field right on by, and to the race lead will be Alexander Abedi, and more hard contact in the back as they go too wide. Berry's into the outside wall.
Yeah, big check up there as one of the cars goes ridiculously sideways. Everybody checking up to try and get out of the back of him, and unfortunately for Feldman, did not see that one coming. Was blocked by the cars in front, gonna go sideways over the jump with contact between him and Ward. Both of them still keep going on in a straight line now as they make their way into the dirt section for the first time. Chaotic start to the race, as we'd expect, always here at Charlotte.
Two teammates at the front in Abedi and Palacio. Daniel Aish now trying to fight from third. He's looking for a transfer spot in that top 2. Does anybody joker first time by? Matthew Feldman comes in after the horrific start for him in his Subaru. He will come out P7 all the way at the tail end of the field, but the only driver so far to take to the joker. Connor Berry in 2nd place, or in 4th place, excuse me, right now, looking for that 2nd place spot. Remember, iRacing Off-Road Championship Series champion, the first of its kind, and he returns to Racecraft Rallycross after a dominating RX2 season earlier on in 2022.
Yeah, but oh, what a move there up the inside into the dirt section. A little bit of contact, pushing Aish out of the way. But fantastic move there from Barry to move his way up and into the joker. He saw that battle going on up in front of it, Josh, and he wanted no part of it.
So Connor Berry jokers, he'll fall to 5th, make it 6th as Feldman tries to go around. He won't get around Connor Berry as the 28th holds on to that 5th spot. Betty and Palacio at the front. You can see the very similar paint schemes. Both of them teammates at the front right now. 2 to go this time by the start finish, and both of them still have yet to joker. Same thing with Danny Aish, same thing with Toby Ward, who sit 3rd and 4th looking for a spot in the top 2. If they want a spot in the top 2, Dane, they have to do a bit of joker lane strategy here soon if they want any chance at it.
Oh, and there into the joker. That's Palacio into the joker there. Aish will move up a position, and we'll see where does Barry come out in relation. Just a little bit further back. We'll see if Barry has the pace to catch up and take that position there. Aish, of course, still going to have to drop back after he takes his joker, and then Abedi in the same position as well. So this could all change massively. The top 4 there, with Barry, Palacio taking their jokers and Aish and Abedi not, that could all completely flip on its head once the jokers come into play.
White flag this time by for heat race number 2, and Abedi and Aish now sit in the top 2 transfer spots. Abedi jokers, that's going to be huge from the race lead. Danny Aish stays on the racetrack. He's still got a joker left to use, but if he can build a gap up on Marcus Palacio, he might be able to take it and still survive, but that gap now is 1.3 seconds. Back to Connor Berry in 4th. Danny Aish does not have enough time here, Dane.
Oh, side by side over the jump. Abedi's going to go up the inside. So Palacio's going to go up the inside. They make contact. Both of them are going to go around, and Barry is going to inherit 2nd place with the jokers. Aish still has to go there, and now massive carnage behind. But Barry might be just winning this race here.
Connor Berry to 2nd place. Danny Aish still has to joker. The tow back to the pit lane will score Alexander Abedi in the lead for the moment. We can promise you that is a tow back to the pit lane, but Connor Berry at the line from off-road champion to heat race winner in RX1. Berry is winning in everything that he touches as he wins again in Racecraft Rallycross.
Last to first in the heat race. Fantastic stuff from Barry. Insane pace. Remember, that pass on Aish was done on track. He was behind when he took the joker and then ends up out in front. Some fantastic stuff there. Aish in second place. Probably wasn't expecting that with a couple of laps to go, but he makes his way into the transfer positions as well. And here we've got the race starting grid, for heat race number 3. Christian Lindo up on the top step there. Zach Knowles, of course, from RX2 in 4th position. Good grid up here.
And on the pole is Christian Rafas Lindo, David Schofield, Brian Sawyer, Zach Knowles, graduate from RX2, Damian Jensen, Daniel Michael, the top 6 with Dario Franco, who accidentally joining this session, an RX2 driver. We are underway for heat race number 3, the final one of the evening. And up to the outside, that's Brian Sawyer in his Ford Fiesta that hits the wall. Schofield over Christian Rafas Lindo, round the outside, first corner into the race lead.
You can definitely get that away in here in Charlotte. If you're on the outside, it can be possible as they all bunch up into the second corner. Sawyer was around and he's taken someone else with him.
Rafas Lindo back to the race lead as they go back to the dirt. The 24 into the race lead. That was Brian Sawyer and Damian Jensen that hit each other in that wreck there. But Christian Rafas Lindo with the new race lead. Does he joker this time by? What does the young man do? He does not. He stays on the racetrack. And as he does, we go on board and take a look at Christian Rafas Lindo. Pretty much the exact same intense look on his face as Jacob or Fox has.
Yeah, the cousins, of course, these two, and no surprise that Christian's just as quick out there at the moment. Making his way through the dirt section now. A little tap of the handbrake there on the way in. Through the next part as well. When will we see the Jokers come out? I think he's got such a great lead here that he doesn't need to take it until right at the very end.
So he does not joker that time by. Not expecting a joker for still a handful of laps on Christian Rafas Lindo. David Schofield in second place, also yet to joker. Zach Knowles in third, Daniel Michael in fourth with Brian Sawyer in fifth. All of these drivers still have yet to take to the joker lane. Zach Knowles in third, the RX2 graduate, and don't want to sugarcoat it, Dane. It's been a struggle for Zach Knowles in RX1 as of late. Only 2 rounds under his belt in this higher up division of Racecraft Rallycross, but here a 3rd place run with a chance at a spot in the feature. This is already looking like a massive improvement for the Canadian.
Yeah, but absolutely is. Making his way through the right and then the left. Doesn't really need to worry too much about Sawyer and Jensen there. They were the 2 drivers that got stacked up into the first couple of corners in the race as they make their way up and over the jump. Then Knowles just trying to tag onto the back of Schofield, of course, with this being such a tricky and technical circuit. Almost anything can happen. So not too uncommon to see drivers making ever so small mistakes, but they can make a massive impact here, especially if you get any of these dirt sections even slightly wrong.
Rafas Lindo still leads, no joker yet. White flag this time by. Schofield doesn't joker, neither does Zach Knowles. So Knowles will solidify himself in third, the great starting position for his LCQ race. And Schofield just looking to hold on to a transfer spot. Christian Rafas Lindo gonna cruise his way to a heat race number 3 victory this time by.
Yeah, and obviously taking to his joker here on the last time by, as are all of the top 3. Trying to use that little tarmac strip on the inside there just to get as much traction as possible, sending it at speed into the joker, getting a good run through there, and he'll take the win in this heat race.
Christian Rafas Lindo victorious in heat race number 3, setting the tone for the rest of the night for the Rafas family. David Schofield in second, Zach Knowles close, but just not enough at the line. Knowles finishes third, but he will have a good starting spot for his LCQ. Speaking of LCQs, we're getting ready for LCQ number 1 now, as it was Rafus Lindo and Schofield advancing. We will have 2 LCQs. Top 3 advance to the feature. And let's see the starting grid for our first LCQ of the evening. Josh Edmondson will start on the pole. Zach Knowles, who is outside with Toby Ward there as well. Aiden Irving with Brian Sawyer. Matthew Feldman, the top 6. Steve Ainge is going to round out your full field of drivers here for LCQ number 1 of the evening. LCQ2 will have the exact same amount of laps. It will be 5 laps, and we'll put through the exact same amount of people. Top 3 advance into the feature. 7 drivers on the grid. Green light is on. We are underway, and it's a good start in the middle for Zach Knowles. The Canadian going to take an early lead. Here comes the California native to the inside of Josh Edmondson. For Fiesta into third, that's going to be Toby Ward. Top 3 trying to pull away in those transfer spots, but back from there, Feldman and Irving looking at the edge of the top 5.
Yeah, this is crucial here for these drivers to make it cleanly into these first couple of corners. On the first lap where they're all bunched up. It's going to be side by side over the jump. Ward and Feldman making contact over the jump again. And here comes the Super up the inside of Ward to take that 4th place away.
That was almost carnage, but Ward able to save it many, many times over. Side by side now, Edmondson and Feldman. Feldman goes for a crossover. Edmondson with the block. A little bit of touches to the handbrake. You can see those rear wheels locking up there. But the Canadian, the 099 of Zach Knowles, leads the way. Top 3 stay out of the Joker lane. Make that the entire field staying out of the Joker lane. As an issue for Brian Sawyer, the Ford Fiesta is all the way down at the bottom of the field.
It is still Knowles who leads though. Edmondson and Feldman close behind though. Through the tarmac section once again, the top 3 fairly comfortable in the background as Irvin hits the sausage curves on the outside there, the turtles.
Top 3 separating themselves from the rest of the group. 1.2 seconds is that gap. Edmondson gonna joker this time. Feldman joins Zach Knowles and staying on the normal line. Knowles onto the halfway point of LCQ1 as the lead. Aiden Irvine goes to 3rd. Edmondson to 4th after the joker. Oh, and Irving's into the wall. Hard into the tires. And Irving is gonna be out of this race. Edmondson back to 3rd just like that.
And now around the outside there goes the Fiesta as well. But huge impact into the wall there for Evan. Keeps on going though, for the time being at least. And Feldman having to hold on here to Edmondson. Still has the Joker to take Feldman, so this isn't for position. But what he's doing is holding up Edmondson, who has to get a move on if he wants to try and overtake Knowles by the end of this LCQ.
Feldman dives to the Joker. That puts him back to 3rd. Josh Edmondson goes to 2nd place. Feldman comes out millimeters in front of Steve Ainge. 3/10 the gap between those two. But Knowles at the front still has to joker. 2.7 seconds, 2 laps to go. Dane, do you think Edmondson has an opportunity to overtake?
I'm not too sure. I think Feldman might have held him up just enough. That gap, I don't think it's going to be enough for Edmondson to close up the gap, but Edmondson still has got 1 more lap to try and close up that gap as much as he can. Knowles just needs to hold on. Think about it though, all he needs is a top 3. I think he's got that one in the bag.
White flag in the air. Knowles still has to joker. 2.3 seconds back to Jim Beaver Esports now. Teammate Josh Edmondson. Knowles, one of the newest additions to the Jim Beaver Esports family. Painter for them as well. Running a lot of Zach Knowles' paints throughout the beginning of the year in Racecraft Rallycross and throughout the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series as well, as Knowles looks for his first RX1 victory of any kind. It'll be in an LCQ, but it advances him into the feature through the Joker lane. Zach Knowles is going to be victorious in Racecraft Rallycross RX1 as he wins LCQ number 2.
Yeah, and taking a nice spot on the grid for the feature race coming up, as he will have an opportunity to have some pretty decent points out there in that feature race. You can see there, followed by Edmondson and Feldman across the line in the end.
And should be noted,
those
Matthew
three,
Feldman, his first Racecraft Rallycross appearance at all. Great run for him to qualify himself into the feature, but we gotta hurry up and get going with LCQ number 2 as they take to the starting grid. Marcus Palacio on the pole, Benjamin Forster, Daniel Michael start rounding out your first row. Cohen Adder, Rafael Franco, Damian Jensen the top 6, Alexander Abetti, and will round out your field. No Dario Franco. He accidentally joined this session being an RX2 driver. Green light is on and the teammates still at the front, but a Subaru's trying to cut it up the middle. 3 teammates at the front, and I don't know who that was trying to get up through the field. It looks to be Rafael Franco, or that was Cohen Adder making the move there in that Subaru, almost going off the track, but 3 teammates lead the way through the dirt section. It's Palacio, Abetti, and Benjamin Forster at the front of the pack.
Yeah, the 3 of them are making waves in this LCQ already. The limited teamwork required here, and they'll be able to make all 3 of their cars up into that feature race. Oh, some contact behind, and that's perfect for them as the car goes around, holds up the rest of the field. But Abetti's going to get past and join them up there. We saw Abetti and a couple of these drivers out in front having battles in the heat races as well. This is going to be an incredible battle between these 3 drivers, these 4 drivers up here at the front, as Jensen, it looks like, down to the Joker lane.
Actually, I believe Damian Jensen is towed back to the pit lane. Just a little bit of scoring issue with the way the iRacing scoring works at this track. So Jensen is off the racetrack, leaves 5 drivers left with us to race. Rafael Franco and Daniel Michael did take to the Joker lane that time by, so that leaves only this top 3, all of them being teammates out on the racetrack, still with a Joker lane left. Forster, Palacio, and Abetti looking to qualify all 3 of their cars into the feature race.
Down to the Joker for Palacio there. Lovely line through that Joker as well. Want to get as straight of a line through the first couple parts as you can. Drift out wide ever so slightly, but cut back just in time to get a good apex on the inside wall. Forster leading, Abetti just behind. And then Palacio, with that Joker already taken, still up in the transfer spot, so a massively great position for the 83 there.
Benjamin Forster in first, Alexander Abetti in second. As Dane mentioned, both of them still have to Joker. Not this time for Benjamin Forster, is it this time for Alexander Abetti? No, it's not. 2 to go this time by 5-lap LCQs. Remember, top 3 advance, so Palacio is in that last transfer spot. Rafael Franco is going to look for it, but both of them having their Joker lanes already done. Franco has to hope for a mistake that is going to cost Palacio about 2.7 seconds.
Yep, and making their way through. Not a lot of time left for any of these top 3 to make a mistake and try and get past these 3 teammates doing a fantastic job at the moment. Making their way through. Forster takes the white flag, will take his Joker on the last lap.
White flag in the air. Forster not only taking his Joker lane on the last lap, but it looks like also Alexander Abetti will be taking his Joker on the final lap of the race as well. He goes wide, but luckily it's only Palacio behind, and that's good for 2 reasons. One, Palacio is only in third, so that means that Abetti, even if Palacio were to get by, would stay in the transfer spots. It's also his teammate, so we know he's not going to race him too hard for that second spot. All of them are going to transfer. Benjamin Forster through the Joker lane, and Forster is going to walk away with our LCQ number 2 victory. And for the second spot, Palacio is going to take it. Alexander Abetti, 1.8 seconds good to Rafael Franco, and he grabs the 3rd and final transfer.
Brilliant teamwork by the guys there, and they will qualify for that feature race. And coming up in just a moment, final race results on your screen.
Forster, Palacio, and Abetti, the top 3. Franco, Michelle, Adder, and Jensen rounding out to the drivers that took the green flag there in our second and final LCQ of the evening. we get ready now for RX1 feature racing. And Dane, this RX1 series has been intense. We didn't get an opportunity to take a look at the points before we began, so we'll take a look at them now. But it is intense at the top with Jacob Rafos still in the lead. Tommy Makinen in second place. No Tommy Makinen tonight, unfortunately. Prior commitments for him. No Garrett Maines either. No Josh Fox. So a lot of these front top names are going to be taking jokers, only giving Jacob Rafos another opportunity to pull away even further.
Yep, and a lot of opportunity for some of the other guys a little bit further back to gain some good points here as well. So really interesting to see how their championship goes too, because you got to think, some of those drivers, they're not going to have this opportunity to score big points as often if you've got the likes of Makinen, Maines, Fox, Parisi, Alderton as well. If they're in the series, then some of these drivers might not have that opportunity too often. And this could be huge for their own championships.
This is going to be a huge feature race. And talking about the points format, of course, we've already had qualifying, so that was 6 points on the board for the pole sitter, that being Jacob Rafos. Heat race win for Jacob Rafos as well, another 8 points. It has been, I believe, 2 or 3 rounds in a row that have been absolutely perfect from Jacob Rafos. He has an opportunity to do it again tonight with a feature race win, Dane.
Yep, he absolutely does. Absolutely on it in this series all season long. And here at Charlotte, no exception. Easily one of his fastest circuits. He's absolutely rapid here at Charlotte. Taught me a thing or two as well, especially through his Joker. If you watch his Joker when he does go to the Joker in the feature race, he has an incredible line through the Joker.
Jacob Rafos on the pole after his heat race win. We won't waste much more time. We are ready to go racing in the RX1 feature race. Warm-up concludes, and 12 drivers of iRacing Rallycross's best are ready to go head to head. It's an all Subaru starting grid with Jacob Rafos. We are being your heat race number 1 winner. Connor Berry, heat race 2 winner. Christian Rafos Lindo starting on the outside of the front row. Also heat race number 3 winner. Heat race number 1, second place, Connor Parisi. Heat race number 2, second place, and Danny Aish and David Schofield. Heat race number 3, second place finisher for him. All the rest of these drivers advancing from our LCQs. The left side of your screen, LCQ number 1 in Zach Knowles, Josh Edmondson, and Matthew Feldman. Right side of your screen is LCQ 2, Benjamin Forster, Marcus Palacio, and Alexander Abetti. All 3 of those names being teammates on the grid as they will line up. Looking to go racing here once again from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway. Quick, Dane, who's going to walk away with this feature race win? I know there's so many good names to choose from.
Can't look past Rafos. It's impossible to look past Jacob Rafos right there on the inside. The outside is quicker often here at Charlotte on the first couple of corners. You can carry a bit more speed around the outside, but Rafos on the inside so fast.
Revs come up, lights go green. We are racing an RX1 feature. It's an amazing start from Jacob Rafos. Christian Rafos Lindo trying to hold around the outside of Connor Parisi as they dive into turn number 1. Danny Aish goes to 4th. Edmondson stuck middle of the pack. So is David Schofield back there as well. Same thing with Marcus Palacio. But at the front of the field, it's all Jacob Rafos who pulls away. And it's all Rafos 1-2 as Christian Rafos Lindo goes to 2nd place. 3rd place, Connor Parisi. Zach Knowles, what a start from the RX1 rookie this season. He sits 4th ahead of Schofield, rounding out your top 5.
Yep, just swooped around the outside of the entire pack almost and absolutely flying on this first attempt. Got up the inside of Parisi there as well on the beginning, but couldn't quite make that one stick and had to cede that position early on. But as anyone in this huge field going to go for the Joker on the first time by, no one in the top 5.
Jacob Rafos leads the way with Christian Rafos Lindo behind. Connor Parisi still holds 3rd, and Joker Lane, unpopular place right now as we go to lap number 2. But at the front, it is all Jim Beaver Esports trying to pull away with Connor Parisi there in 3rd as well. Rafos Lindo in 2nd. A lot of pressure behind from Connor Parisi, however. How much longer can that Dirtfish Subaru keep back the Next Level Racing Jim Beaver Esports entry? Parisi with a crossover to the inside for 2nd, and beautifully done. He takes that spot in the number 11.
Yep, Parisi now up into that second position. Now has a massive gap to try and close down if he wants to lead of this race. Look at how big the gap between him and Rafos is. He's absolutely flying out there, Rafos. And still with the lead on lap number 3 as they make their way up towards the second of the dirt sections. Still nobody jokering right up in the top 8 cars or so.
We'll go back to the start here in just a moment, but it was an intense one for pretty much that entire field, as it looks like off-road champion Connor Berry, not taking to the starting grid. Let's see all of the intense nature that happened on this initial start. And you can see the great start to the inside from Jacob Rafos. 4 wide back from there. That is how Zach Knowles got up there. And then it was 2 wide through the remainder of the field, and it looked like a fairly clean start for everybody else in the field, but just another beautiful start from Jacob Rafos pushes him all the way up into the front, and now the dominant race lead.
Yep, just flying out there. And Parisi coming around the final couple of corners, almost can't even see the back of Rafos' car anymore coming out of some of these corners. It's just gaining such a huge gap. And one of the things that I love about Rallycross is the adaptability that you have to have as a driver. The track is wearing down a lot. You can see it on the screen. Those lighter sections just wearing down, in some places all the way to the tarmac. And the track drives so differently compared to when it's a fresh track. So drivers have to be really adaptable in order to be able to drive quickly on both of the different surfaces as the dirt starts to wear down. And all the drivers out there, you can see their different lines that they start to take. It's fantastic to see. So far, everyone's seeming to stay out of the Joker lane.
Everybody at the front for that matter. Edmondson, Aish, Abedi, and Palacio at the back of the field have all taken to the Joker. Halfway done with this RX1 feature, and Rafos continues to put a big gap over Parisi behind. 3.3 seconds is that gap. Of course, Connor Parisi, a multi-season competitor in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Christian Rafos Lindo tried to qualify, did not make it. Jacob Rafos, of course, the rising star in the last season of the World Championship, also competed in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series as well, and I believe barely ended up making himself in the top 12 to avoid facing relegation for the next season of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. So Rafos, another one of those drivers, I mentioned it with Connor Berry, another one of these drivers that is just always fast, and no matter what vehicle we throw him in, if it's on dirt.
Yep, he absolutely is. I'm gonna have to see if I can get some pointers from him. Making his way now through the right-hander. Like I said earlier, just trying to get that little patch of tarmac on the inside there. Much grippier than the dirt, of course. You can gain a little bit of a boost almost. Coming through there, he's hit the wall! Rafos hit the wall on the outside as well. Luckily, he's managed to keep it just about going in a straight line. Where he's hit the wall there, Josh, it's so easy to just spin the car right around.
That gap still 4.7 seconds is the battle between Parisi and Rafos Lindo is coming on. Rafos Lindo right on the back bumper of Connor Parisi. Does he go for a move? Doesn't look like he can just yet. Does he look to the inside here? He tries to go for it. The crossover move in this section of the track, so popular among these drivers. It's one of the easiest moves to make, but Rafos Lindo gets blocked by Parisi, who parked that car in the middle of the corner. And it's not going to be enough. It's also not going to be a sign for any of these drivers to take to the Joker. Parisi, Lindo stay on the racetrack. Same thing with Knowles and Feldman, as Knowles looks for his first top 5 in RX1, and Matthew Feldman looks to make it 1 start and 1 top 5 in a feature.
Yeah, but now trying to make his way up in that 5th position, doing a fantastic job. For sure, has to try and watch out for those Joker Deltas. There comes Lindo back to the inside of the dirt right-hander. He's not going to have a good enough run coming out of it, though. Parisi doing just enough to squeeze him into that wall.
White flag this time by for Jacob Rafos as he looks for his third win in a row in the features. Connor Parisi in second. Zach Knowles now in third as Christian Rafos Linda that last time by did take to the Joker. Comes into this race as your points leader. And it's not a small gap to second place. It is a large gap, and it's going to be even a bit bigger as the drop weeks still come into play. Jacob Rafos has not had to take many, if any, at all. And through the Joker lane, Jacob Rafos continues to be the championship favorite in Racecraft Rallycross as he wins again at Charlotte.
And not surprising one bit, I don't think. Jacob Rafos absolutely on fire at the moment, as he's managed to land it on top of one of the barriers. He just about gets back going again. There's some of the off-road experience doing him some favors there, as he had to get a bit inventive. Oh, hang on, I think we have to watch Jacob Rafos here. We've got to keep watching him. He's about to do one of my favorite things. I believe he's about to do one of my favorite things about Charlotte. There's a massive space in the infield for some donuts, and then when you're done with your donuts, there's a jump. We've seen Trevor Teal do it in the past. Trevor taught me that this existed. It is easily one of the best parts about it, and he's not going to do it. Ah, Jacob, come on.
Well, you can talk to him in post-race and see exactly if he knew about that jump or not. But Jacob Rafos is your feature race winner. Connor Parisi in second. Christian Rafos Lindo ends up third. David Schofield, Zach Knowles rounding out your top five, with Josh Edmondson, Matthew Feldman, Benjamin Forster, Daniel Aish, and Alexander Abedi the top 10 after an exciting feature race, to say the least, here from virtual Charlotte. And the points are only going to get more intense from here, Dane, as that just solidified Jacob Rafos' spot at the top, because Tommy Makinen, he's going to have to take yet another drop week here. That's going to be 2 drop weeks with no points in them. Same thing with Garrett Maines, same thing with Josh Fox, with Connor Parisi being some 30 points behind Jacob Rafos. It's going to be a relatively easy run to the championship for Jacob right now.
Yeah, just 4 rounds to go. Just had to keep his nose clean. Doesn't even have to win any more races. Yeah, good consistent finishes up near the front. We know he has the pace in qualifying to just walk all over everyone. That's almost essentially 3 points for him, really, in those qualifying sessions. So yeah, he's got a straightforward ride to the championship, but still has to keep up the form we've been seeing from him.
Well, your race winner was Jacob Rafos in the feature, and we'll be able to speak with him here on Racecraft TV as he joins us in the broadcast booth now. Jacob Rafos, another feature race win for you. I know it's got to feel good now, winning multiple races this season, and with none of your championship contenders being able to race tonight, pulling away in the points as well.
Yeah, Charlotte is one of my best tracks, so quite happy to win here. I'll probably put down a few thousand of laps here, so my pace is pretty solid here.
And are you confident with your pace going to Lucas Oil Raceway in 1 week's time? Because your season of the World Championship, your season of the qualifiers as well, did not go to Lucas Oil Raceway at all. So this is going to be one of the first times you're racing on this course against fellow World Championship competitors and some of the best in Rallycross. Are you confident going in, or is it going to be a week full of practice for you and the team?
Probably going to be a little practice, because I know Garrett is really fast on that track. And yeah, my pace, it's good, but it's not, I mean, it's up there, but it's not like, yeah, it's not a winning pace, because Garrett is hell faster.
Trying to be on the road to a championship as well. Is this consistency something we can expect to see from you at Phoenix, Knock Hill, and Atlanta to round out the season as well?
Probably Phoenix and Knock Hill. I'm not sure about Atlanta, because that's not my track in Rallycross. I know Josh Edmondson and Connor Parisi and all those guys are pretty good at Atlanta, but no, that's not my track right there.
Well, thank you for your time here on Racecraft TV. Jacob, anybody else you would like to thank before we send you off?
Dirtfish, Wish and Wheel, and just Jim Beaver Esports for helping me, setups and stuff.
And thank you very much for your time here on Racecraft TV. That is Jacob Rafos, race winner in the feature race tonight. Second place finish went to Connor Parisi, and we'll be able to speak with him now. He's standing by with our Dane Baird.
Well, Connor, congratulations on that second place result there. I believe that we've heard that you had sim issues for Connor Barry. I've misread this message that's come into me. I thought it was issues for Ian needs to give surnames in these messages.
I had my fair share as well. So the curse of the Connors today.
So the Connor's not having it too good today, but still second place for you out there. Should be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, real thankful just to finish the race. Haven't upgraded my PC yet, just partnered with Apex PCs, so excited to have them on board, but I'm still waiting for that to come. My current one, my VR's cutting in and out. It just started happening right before the race. So right off the green flag, it cut out. I don't know if you guys saw me get on the brakes like right away. And then like every couple of laps, it was cutting out, and I was just in complete darkness. So just happy to keep it on the track.
Well, it was a lucky one there. Sim issues for both Connors, so not ideal there. I want to ask, first of all, you have to pet the dog for the camera, but also, were you racing with the dog?
She's always right to my left here, parking and syncing up the whole room for me while we're racing.
Well, heading into the next round of the championship, Lucas Oil, obviously a circuit that's been around for a very long time now in iRacing Rallycross, replacing Hell on the schedule, of course, as well. Almost exactly the opposite, I would say, to Charlotte. Charlotte's flowing, lots of dirt. Lucas Oil, quite harsh corners and a lot of tarmac.
Yeah, I think I'm in the minority. I actually really enjoy Lucas, especially racing under lights. So it's always great to get these RX cars under lights. They always look much better.
Well, it's been fantastic to talk to you. Connor, congratulations on that second position. Before we let you go on Racecraft TV, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
You already mentioned before, but excited to partner with Apex Gaming PCs. Use code 11 at checkout, give you 10% off. We also have Next Level Racing, Pimax, 10-7 Race Wraps, and the rest of the dudes at the Jim Beaver Esports crew. Thanks to you guys as well. Always fun going back and watching the race over.
I am going to give you I'm going to be nice here. I think you cut out as you were saying your code.
Code is CP11 at checkout, 10% off. Also, I can post a link. I have a line of PCs now. Josh and I were lucky enough to get a couple tiers together, so we can post that link up later, and you guys can check out our stuff.
Well, sounds fantastic. Well, Connor, thank you so much for coming along and having a chat with us, and we'll see you next time out.
Thanks, fellas.
Always great to hear from Connor there, and we now have got next place driver, Josh.
And that is Christian Rafas Lindo with his best finish of the season. Third place for you here from Charlotte. Were you really confident coming in? Because it looked like you had that confidence out there on the track that we haven't really seen from you in the first 5 rounds of the year.
No, it was a tough season for me at the start of the season. I haven't been home for 3 of the race, and it wasn't the best race for me today also because I haven't practiced that much, only practiced today for a race, so yeah.
And you showed the speed that you haven't seen in the first 5 rounds either, but now with 4 rounds left, not in the running for the championship, are you just going for these race wins, going for these podiums to kind of get yourself a little bit more points and get yourself the experience of racing in RX1?
Yeah, I think so. We need to look how that the team is standings is, and we'll see from there. And I hope one from the team is going to win the championship.
Lucas Oil Raceway. Sorry, Lucas Oil Raceway in 1 week's time as well. Are you confident there? Can we expect another podium from you?
We'll see. It's not the best track I'm driving on, so I think this was the best track on with my pace. So yeah, we will see.
And before we let you go here on Racecraft TV, anybody else you would like to thank before we send you off?
I would love to thank the whole team, Jacob Rafos, Josh Edmondson, Connor Paris, everyone who are supporting and helping me to get faster, and all the sponsors to the team. Next Level Racing, General Tires, everyone.
And thank you very much for your time here on Racecraft TV. That is Christian Rafas Lindo, and that is your top 3 finishers: Jacob Rafos, Connor Parisi, and Christian Rafas Lindo in the top 3 of RX1 feature race tonight. But Dane, we go now to Lucas Oil Raceway in 1 week's time, and a bit of the black sheep of the calendar. Hell Lakabanen taken off, Lucas Oil added in. This is going to be an intense one. I don't think I've ever commentated a race at Lucas Oil Raceway. Maybe back in the 2020 iRacing Rallycross World Championship when we did the Team Yokohama team stream. But other than that, I don't think I've ever seen a race at Lucas Oil Raceway on the Rallycross config.
Yeah, you definitely did do the Team Yokohama team stream with me at Lucas Oil. I know that because 2 weeks ago when we had Iowa in Racecraft Rallycross and we were trying to figure out if we'd done Iowa together, I found Lucas Oil and got the two mixed up. So I definitely know we've done Lucas Oil once, but that was, what, 2 years ago now? So different drivers, different championship, very different championship indeed. And Lucas Oil still remains. It is one of the more interesting circuits on the Rallycross calendar. It looks very odd. There's loads of weird 90-degree corners that are so difficult to get the car slowed down and turned in for, especially the couple of them that are on dirt. You've got walls either side for almost the entire circuit, and a very tight hairpin to end off the lap as well. So it is an extremely tricky circuit to actually get right. And then for racing, it's quite narrow as well. So often we'll see all of the racing is settled in the Joker, which is one of the shortest long cuts that we have on the schedule, if that makes sense.
Makes it a little bit of sense, and you'll see what we mean when we go racing at Lucas Oil Raceway in 1 week's time, same place. It will be August 28th, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on Racecraft TV. For everyone at Racecraft Rallycross, for Zach Knowles, Trevor Teal, and for my colleague in the booth, Dane Baird, a big shout out to Ian Fisher as well, joining us in RX1 to act as a little bit of a spotter as well. My name is Joshua Lee. We thank you for joining us for round number 6 of Racecraft Rallycross. It's getting intense in RX2. Jacob Rafos continues to dominate RX1. What is going to happen when we go racing at Lucas Oil Raceway? Tune in next week to find out.